Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to talk about one of the most controversial / confusing systems in the game, so strap yourself in. It is of course the star rating on your players. And as the lead singer of Coldplay once said, look at the stars, they're so confusing, I have no idea what's going on. Let's watch LonghurstLive and see if he can explain it better. He might be able to. Now before we start the video, there is an FM21 giveaway. All you have to do, guys, is subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, and in the description below there's a tweet. Just give that tweet a retweet, follow me on LonghurstLive, and you have a chance of winning FM21 by launch. So, the star rating. What is it and where do you find it? It is found in two tabs, the tactics and the squad screen. Now the squad screen is probably the best option for it because you can see a whole list of players. The way you do this is on players, next to it, select reports. This allows this whole screen to appear. As you see on the right hand side, you have current ability and potential ability. Now you have three different star colours. You have sort of a light grey, a gold and a black. Now a light grey is mainly for academy players. You can't see that unless you go onto your under 23s or you promote a first team player into there. But as you can see here, it's youth system ratings or youth team ratings. The gold stars are their current ability, as you can read. There are different ratings for each one, so 3-star is good, 2-star is useful, switch it around, blah, blah, blah. Now, the black ones are interesting. If you're 21 or under, black stars appear. If you're 22, the minute you hit 22, those black stars disappear. Your potential is pretty much set in stone, or not set in stone, it's more sort of in the game already and not variable. So as you can see, Declan Rice is the only one in West Ham's starting squad that has these black stars. As you can see, there's a little dash and it tells you where it can be and the highest it can be. So very good to excellent. So that's 3.5 to 4.5 stars. Now these can change. How can they change and how can you find who's making these star ratings up? So if you go onto your individual players and go onto reports here, it will show you here your coach report is by this player here. Now what you want to do is you want to find the best coach that has the best judging ability and best judging potential. So the quickest way to do it is to hover over this and just use your mouse wheel up and down to find it. So let's have a look at the best ones. You've got 9 and 14 here, 13, 13. Now obviously when you hire your own staff, you can get better. You can get 19, 20s on your staff here that give you the best possible outcome. But these are the ones, so funny enough, Kevin Nolan is the best judger of the squad in this club apparently. But you can get some really good staff members. Now your scouts cannot do this, only your coaching staff can. So make sure that one of your coaches at least has really good judging ability so you can utilise this system to the best you can. But 15 plus is pretty good. It's pretty much almost positively accurate. So I would say 15 plus is pretty decent. But now you know where you're going to find your star systems. What do they mean? Now, the quickest way to do it rather than filtering through all these is to make a scout assignment. So what you're going to do is change this quickly. Let me just change this so I can, so I'm just making an assignment for you. Now, this is the best way to describe how each star rating is or what each star rating means. So if you make an assignment here, you can see down here on the additional conditions, scouted current ability, sorry. So star is 5-star, excellent 4.5, superb is 4, very good is 3.5, good is 3-star, the default basic line, fairly good is 2.5 stars, decent is 2 stars, useful is 1.5 stars, low is 1, and half is unsuitable. Now you kind of want 2 minimum, which is pretty much decent. You could use useful. Useful could be a squad player. That's all you really need, 1.5 stars, but we wouldn't really bargain on getting those. You want to look at sort of, I would say for buying players, you want to look to 3 to 4 minimum to make an improvement on that team rather than being a standard layer on that team. But you can go as low as 2.5 stars and it wouldn't make a negative difference that much. But that is what we're looking at in terms of what each star rating means in increments. They go up by half a star. The maximum is 5, the lowest is 0.5. Well, the lowest technically the grey stars, but ignore that because that's the youth system. Now on to what these stars means and how they do it. So unlike what people think, it is not to do with the reputation of your club or the league of your club or other factors like that. It's how good they are in correlation to your actual team. So you can stick a team from the 2nd division of Spain and move them to the Premier League, and that star rating would stay exactly the same until you start buying some Premier League players. So you're pretty much always going to have a steady layout of 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, 1-star, because that's how your squad is. Your best players will always be the best in your team. The best players in your team will always have that 4-star because they are superb for your team. Your 3-stars are going to be average. You're going to have a lot of 3-stars because they'll fit your team very well. So don't look at it as, oh, my team's got a lot of 3-stars, is a bad team. Because if you start buying 5-stars, these 4-stars down here start dropping down. It's pretty much a ratio in a way of how good your players are in correlation to each other. Now, obviously, say I was West Ham and I was buying Lionel Messi, that would drop Pablo Fornals probably down a bit because he's no longer the best player in the team. He's no longer, or if not one player, I'd say let's say we're buying 3 or 4 superstars. That would mean that the superb, that Pablo Fornals is not on the level of Mbappe and Messi. So obviously he'll drop down lower and everyone else below him will drop down until they start improving. The only ones that will catch up with the superior players are your youngsters with the black stars. Obviously West Ham only have one at the moment, Declan Rice. So he'll kind of stay the same. But all the older ones that have their potential already set, they'll drop down because they're no longer superb because Messi's superb, if that makes sense. So the brackets are there. Players just shift in between up and down constantly. Now, if a player is playing really well, they can sometimes go up. It is affected by I think it's affected by performance. Performance is affected as well. Also factors like homegrown and value affect it. Because obviously the value to your team in terms of registration, are they homegrown? Have they been trained in the country? Are they matching a quota? Are they got a good value transfer budget? Are they on sort of decent wages to sell? Stuff like that will affect your thinking. It's not just about on the pitch. It's about the whole team as a squad, not just as a playing performance. So that it can be a bit confusing. But I wouldn't say ignore it. I think they're actually some of the most important features of the game. Let me just create a tactic here and just show you what I mean by that. You see them everywhere. Let me just quick pick this. The team will not look good at the moment. But as you can see here, from a basis point of view, you can kind of see who your standout players are. And you can kind of see who's not up for it. So you can say, right, Fredericks here. He's a fairly good rating for a right back. He might have better stats than what his rating says because you might be at a Man City. And you might be a 2.5-star at Man City, but you might be a 4-star at West Ham. So it all kind of makes a bit of a difference. But it does mean that you can look to improve on the right back spot and say, right, okay, I want a superb right back. West Ham should be pushing for a superb right back. Get a better one of that. It does kind of give you an overall basis of what it is, but it doesn't define the player. The reason it doesn't define the player is Felipe Anderson, for example. He is a left winger. I'm hoping this works. I haven't tried this off camera. Hoping this works. But let's say Felipe Anderson, he's a 4-star player. If we move into central midfield, he's now gone down to 3.5 stars. It doesn't mean he's a 3.5-star player. He's still a 4-star player. He just means that he's not as used to playing in the midfield. Now, if you look at his actual technical ability and his stats and attributes, you know for a fact that he suits that quite well. You know he's got great passing, great technique, great first touch, great dribbling. Don't be put off by the star rating. The star rating isn't a be-all and end-all of your team. Use your brain in terms of attributes and stats. However, it does help you sort of familiarise yourself with the best roles and the best sort of positions you need to work on in terms of improving your squad. But once again, like I say, if you buy better players around Felipe Anderson, he'll go down to a 3-star. Doesn't mean he's a worse player. He's still a great player. It just means he's no longer a superb rating. He's now a good rating in comparison to the elite players you just bought. In terms of other stuff, really, in terms of star ratings, now, obviously, it's not as important. The main important thing is the attributes of the player. If you think that a centre-back will make a better right-back, obviously, let's say, for example, Issa Diop had 10 crossing or 15 crossing. He can make a great fullback. However, you stick him there, and he's now half-star. You might think, well, that's just ridiculous. However, with a bit of training and a bit of patience, eventually with training and patience, that star rating will go up. And you'll probably see better performances. The star ratings doesn't mean they'll perform badly. If you have the attributes for that role, it doesn't mean they're going to be bad. Oh, sorry. If you have the attributes for that, it doesn't mean they're going to be bad. Yeah, it means it can be great. You just have to use your brain a bit more than having just a game do it for you. Like I touched upon earlier, you obviously want to try and have sort of 5-star in every single position, but that is impossible. You cannot get a team of 5-star players. It's just not going to happen because, once again, it's all ratios. It's all comparing to each other. So you can't have, unless everybody's 20, 20, 20, 20, 20 every single stat, I'm not even sure that even works. I'm not sure that even gives you 5-star. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm not sure even that gives you 5-star ratings in every single position. So don't worry about your players not being 5-star. Don't worry about them being 2.5-star. Ryan Fredericks can still do a job for a good few seasons as a 2.5-star player. He's still a decent player. But just bear it in mind that a star rating isn't about your competitions or your reputation or anything else. It's about your team in general. Don't go comparing it to Man City or other clubs, because a 2-star at Man City, like say Riyad Mahrez becomes a 2-star at Man City or a 3-star at Man City, sticking in West Ham's team, he's a 4-star. There's no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it at all. But in terms of youngsters, we're going to touch upon the youngsters slightly a little bit. Controversial sentence there. But you have these grey ratings or the silver stars, whatever they are. It basically means they're lower than the first team. They're not really good enough for the first team yet either. Under 23 is probably the best shout for it. So someone like Jake Giddings here, he could eventually become a 1-star when sticking with the first team, play him a few times. But that's not really, I wouldn't look upon them silver stars. I would not care about them. The ones that probably have a current silver star ability probably won't make it into the club. If you look at players like Grady and Garner or Zande Silva here, they've already got gold star ratings at their 18, 17-year-old ages here. If you're 18 and have silver stars, you're probably not going to make it at the club and probably not worth playing at all. Probably not even worth touching. Maybe just let him go out of contract. But in terms of potential here, you can see here that Haksabanovic is 20 years old. He has 4.5-star potential ability. Now, this obviously potential is affected by he's on loan, so we can't use him. Let's use Cardoso here. So obviously the potential one is affected by that potential stat, and the current is affected by the current ability. Now, this potential can change if your team improves. Like, say you have a 5-star potential wonder kids. If you're looking to use him in 3 years' time, within that 3 years' time, you buy Messi, Mbappe, Ronaldo, De Bruyne. Obviously, that 5-star will no longer be up level with them. It doesn't mean his potential's gone down. It means in relation to the team that you've now got, he's not going to be that 5-star player. So don't be put off that if you go into a transfer market and buy a 5-star player, potential player, in Season 3, by the time it hits Season 5 and he's 4-star, 3-star potential, it doesn't mean that he's now terrible. It means he's always going to be as good as what he was. It just means your team may have outgrown him slightly, but it doesn't mean that player you bought is bad. It just means there's a way to go to become the superb rating for the team. I'm pretty sure that is all we need to cover here. It is a confusing topic, as I did say at the start of the video. It is very confusing. Hopefully I cleared it up slightly for you. Let me know in the comments if you agree, disagree, anything you want to add to that. Please leave a like if I'm new around here. Please subscribe as well. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so hopefully you're going to reach that. Obviously, guys, enter the giveaway. All the details are in the description below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all next time.